Hello, my name is Professor Susan Harris Rimmer. I am a 51-year-old white woman, Scottish roots, plump and jolly looking, with short grey hair. I have an Auslan interpreter here with me, Kathy, and she is also a silver-haired beauty. We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we are meeting here, Griffith University in Nathan. I pay my respects to the Jagera and Turrbal peoples of Meanjin. I'm here to tell you about the findings of our 4-year research project, Adjudicating Rights for a Sustainable NDIS. The NDIS assists people with disabilities to participate in the community with supports and services like therapy, equipment, and help at home. However, making decisions about funded supports fairly and sustainably creates a challenge. This project explored decision-making around supports to better understand how these decisions are made. Our project focused on tricky cases where reviews and appeals were needed to identify ways to improve decision-making and outcomes around reasonable and necessary supports for a just and sustainable NDIS. We conducted interviews with 19 NDIS participants and 31 NDIS stakeholders, including government, legal organisations, and advocacy groups. We also looked at 98 appeal cases in the AAT and 3 federal court cases. Let's look at our 4 major findings. The first is around complex frameworks and the tensions that arise. The NDIS framework for deciding reasonable and necessary supports is really complicated for decision makers. More clarity is needed about which supports the NDIS will fund. A co-design process is needed to prioritise and decide which supports should be funded by the NDIS and what is included or excluded. Second area was around decision-making processes. Poor explanations and unclear processes can prevent NDIS participants from exercising their rights to review and appeal. Reasons for initial and review decisions should be clearly communicated to participants and their representatives, explaining the evidence used, not just the legal grounds. The entire decision-making process should be redesigned to be more collaborative. Our third finding was around clarifying the boundaries between governments. The AAT should not be deciding which supports what different levels of government should fund. These decisions should be made by an intergovernmental agreement, not on a case-by-case basis. Our fourth finding is around adversarial and traumatic processes. NDIS participants attending the AAT generally lack adequate legal representation. This is necessary because of the legal complexity of these decisions. The process is traumatic without a lawyer. Processes should be redesigned to be less adversarial and more disability rights and trauma informed. So our key takeaway is this: an NDIS that ensures rights, equity and justice alongside efficiency and sustainability can be achieved. But changes are needed. Changes to the legislation could ensure greater clarity and consistency for NDIS participants and decision makers. And changes to processes can ensure that seeking care and support does not result in trauma, but in justice. A process of co-designing with all stakeholders should inform any changes to the NDIS. You can find out more about our project by clicking on the links below, where you can read our full report, all our articles, and read our policy recommendations. Thank you so much.